This Tennessee Lottery 250 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in both cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. We are also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you asked me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and every time I hear that intro, Cody, I want to flip the switch. I want to start my engines. Alas, I have no engines to start. One of these days, man, I'm going to get in a race car, and I'm going to hear that intro music in my head as I switch.
I love it. Yes, it does get me excited, gets me ready to fire up the engines. Luckily for us, Rod, we get to fire up the betting engines.
Yes, we do, as we always do. Today, of course, is the Xfinity episode. Go back, listen to the Cup episode if you haven't had a chance to already. We are in Nashville, Tennessee for the Tennessee Lottery 250 Xfinity race, a city I absolutely love, an area that I absolutely love. If I did not live in California, I always said that I would live in that Tennessee/Kentucky area if I ever moved away from California. So a special place in my heart.
There you go. I love it.
Cody's like, I don't know what to do with that information.
I mean,
it's just,
yeah, that's, I don't know that I want to move to Tennessee or Kentucky, but Nashville's getting popular. I've been there. It's a fun little place. So there you go.
Yep. And it's close to the Tennessee Titans. So, I mean, you got to love that as well. I do love me some Tennessee Titans. Or was it Tennessee Oilers /Titans? Yeah, that was what they were back in the day. So, all right. As Cody has zero clue what to do with anything I say today, we progress and we move on. But yeah, definitely the Xfinity Series episode. A few names that we are familiar with running in this race as well, and we'll talk about that all in a second. But
just a few, Rod.
Just a couple. Just a couple of guys who are like, yeah, I'm going to put on the jumpsuit. We're going to go ahead and jump in this car and see what we can do with it. But that'll be fun to watch as well. No trucks still. They're doing the F1 thing where they're taking 600 days off.
Trucks are back, Rod. We got trucks tomorrow.
Wait, what? My schedule did not say trucks tomorrow.
Yeah, we got trucks. I mean, not like tomorrow for the show. The show schedule says trucks tomorrow, Rod. Yeah, they're back Friday night, baby, under the lights, 7 p.m. Central Time Zone in Nashville at the Nashville Superspeedway. The Army is really, really messing with your mind, Rod. It's been, I mean, they thought they were IndyCar, thought they were F1. They took like 3.5 months off, but they're back. Clint Boyer's going to be racing.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about for trucks tomorrow, Rod. But today is Xfinity.
Today is Xfinity. Oh my God. If I could only just retain any knowledge that I'm supposed to retain, then that would be fantastic. So somebody wake me up when this week's over, but looking forward to getting back in the friendly confines of my own studio. I'm sure you guys are missing out on all of the accoutrement that goes over my head and not this blank wall. But those of you on the podcast, you're probably just wanting to get back to the normal sound of the podcast with me being at home. So that'll all happen very, very shortly. So we'll do that. And we'll actually start talking about this race in a second. But let me tell you first about the network. Make sure to check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. They've started their top 10 fantasy football preview series. Quarterbacks and tight ends episodes are already out right now, and it's never too early for the National Football League in the worst Chris Berman voice I can ever possibly do.
I would not have said Chris Berman after that because it was
no. I think I have to listen to him. I really have to figure out what he sounds like again because I haven't heard his voice in a long time, and his voice is different now than it used to be when it was popular. So, checking in with the chat, Robert Williams saying, "What up, guys? Got to meet Mr. Sheldon Creed before last Saturday's race. Oh, I asked him to get in the top 5 from when he came through. Hey, Robert, thank you, buddy.
Love it."
Love it.
We're gonna talk about Sheldon Creed again this week. Roddy made us some money last week, so he's earned the right to get back on the board this week.
Yeah, Robert, you need to go meet him again and probably give him that same juju.
Yeah, you can just go to every race and ask him to get the top 5. That'd be great.
Love it. Rod's been brainwashed by the MK Ultra. I can't trust the man. I'll tell you right now. I don't know. It's not brainwashing, but it's definitely a lot of information. They call it drinking from the fire hose, and I certainly agree with that.
Yeah, that's gotta love the military, Rod.
Gotta love the military. I do. Why? Because they give me great opportunities to be in beautiful Virginia. So, all right, Cody, it is the Xfinity race. Like we said, we are on the Nashville. It's not a super speedway. Don't call it a super speedway, but it's named the Super Speedway. I noticed that there's some folks in the Discord talking about, but Kyle Larson not good on a super speedway.
Yeah, it's super speedway in name only. Why it is named Super Speedway, who knows? But it's not. It does not race like a super speedway at all. We did talk about it yesterday a little bit. It's a unicorn, Rob. It's its own thing. There's really just no comparison. It is a 1.33 mile concrete surface. Closest comparisons are going to be Dover, and then kind of your faster 1.5 miles. So your Texas, your Kansas, your Las Vegas. That's kind of what we're looking at it, along with the previous races here. Obviously, we've been here a few times with Xfinity again, much like Cup. So we've got 3 races to look back on for the people who have at least a few races here, which is of course not everyone in the field.
Yeah, and again, this is one that the Xfinity races have been on for a little while. Cup is kind of brand new to the scene. There are a few folks, like we've talked about, who have several years of experience on this track. Will that come into play? Probably. Morning News Music saying, how we doing, boys? Been listening all year, literally every week. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yes.
Gotta love our return listeners. And this is my first time catching a live stream. Well, welcome in. Hopefully you can catch more of them. Thanks for keeping my investment in NASCAR entertaining and profitable.
Love to hear it.
That's what we aim to do, bud.
Yeah, that's awesome. Glad you caught a live one. So if you got questions, we always try to get to those. So drop in the chat there.
Indeed. Like Cody said, this is a 1.3333 mile paved track. We are due for 188 laps around this track for 250.604 miles. Cody, we talked about it in the intro. There's like 1 or 2 guys' names that you're going to recognize from Sundays, dropping down to Saturdays. So what's that entry list look like?
Yeah, just 1 or 2, Rod. By the way, it's going to be 95 degrees Saturday in Nashville, Tennessee.
And it'll rain. And it'll rain. I don't want to hear it. It's going to rain.
Don't say the R word.
Dude, no, it's going to rain. Shut up.
No rain on Saturday. The chance on Sunday keeps getting lower, so we're going to keep praying for that. But anyways, loaded Xfinity Series entry list, 39 entries for 38 spots. Chad Fincham in the 14 car. That's your notable driver. So, there you go. Back to you, Rob. Oh,
back to me. All right.
Chad Fincham is in this race. But Tyrone Gibbs, baby, is back in the 19 car. John Hunter Nemechek back in the 20 car. Tyler Reddick dipping down in the 26 car for Sam Hunt Racing. We'll be having conversations about him. Noah Gregson is once again in that number 30 car for Rhett Jones Racing. Carson Quapple back in the number 88 car. Been a top 5 machine. Will that continue, Rod? We're going to talk about that as well. And the watermelon man himself, Ross Chastain, is back in the DGM car. Just a quick note, you will notice odds are longer on guys like Gregson. It's not a very good car. I wouldn't expect a ton. Odds are longer on Chastain. He can be hit or miss. Let's see. You're not betting on Chastain? Okay.
Hold the beer.
Talk about Chastain more later. Oh my God. And then for Tyler Reddick, again, it's that 26 car, which we've seen Corey Heim have. We're going to talk more about Tyler Reddick. Well, I'll just leave it at that, Rob.
Yep, we are definitely going to talk about all of those notable drivers. Again, look, I may not be able to talk much in the Discord as much as I want to, but I see it. I lurk. I see all you guys talking in there. So I love that community. I love you guys for keeping it flourishing. I just wish that I would be able to, take more of a just maybe one sentence in there and then pop my head and say hi and then have to pop back out again. I feel it's best to let you guys continue to move on without Dad stepping in the room saying, "Hi guys, how are you doing?"
Just know Dad's always watching, I guess is what he's trying to say.
Just know Dad's keeping an eye on what's going on in the world. But yeah, definitely this is going to be an interesting field. Obviously, we know that it hasn't always been a lock for these Cup guys when they come down to any series, let alone the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series. So we're definitely going to be talking about a lot of these guys, and it's going to influence a lot of the odds for some of the other guys as well. So, yeah.
What's sort of funny about this too is like, there's almost so many guys that came down to this that you don't have the short odds. Like if it was just Ty Gibbs kind of coming down, then he'd be, like Christopher Bell last week where it was really, really short odds. But you've got so many guys in this one that really the odds are, you got plus 450, plus 375 some places for the favorites here, but not as dipped down as you maybe would have thought coming into this.
Yeah, it's kind of a wash. The books are like, it's Sunday. I guess we're just gonna have to roll with what we've got on Sunday because these guys, any one of them can swoop in and do something good. So, all right. I think we've set this race up enough. I think it might be time to go ahead and start getting to some of the bets, Cody. Do you agree?
I do agree, Rod.
But first, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy. Pick 8 is now live. Create entries with up to 8 picks. Underdog's going to automatically double flex your entries. That's both arms. That's not just one arm. That's both arms. Double flexing those entries. So you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and more extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. Can you tell my voice just got excited? The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount, and you can also use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. Cannot wait to make a pick 8. We are going to lay out all the underdog picks for you later on in the week with our underdog special episode. And of course, our DFS episode, which now will consist of all 3 series. Thanks, Cody. Don't miss your chance to try it out before it is gone. Plus, if you're already a user, this is for all of you guys that have already signed up with our promo code user. You can, between now and UFC 303, you are going to get a deposit bonus as well. 10% deposit cash. Make sure you get in there. Or if you're new, sign up with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN. Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. They're giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Of course, Circa contests have 0 rake. That's no rake. Circa Millions. Pick 5 NFL teams against the spread each week and compete for $6 million, or survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's legal, anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP. Don't have a book trip for Las Vegas yet before football? Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out, hang out with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sportsbook in the world, August 22nd, August 24th. May have to go out there myself. I'm not too far away from Vegas, so I feel like that's a road trip I should make. Cody, we should that's where we should officially meet for the first time.
I mean, it's only fitting if we were to meet there for the first time, Rod, I think.
I would have to say that.
It is, it always blows my mind. This is our 444th episode of this show. We're 60 plus into F1. We've done other shows together over the years, still never met in person, and yet we're like best friends. So I like it. Little Joker in the chat, 19, going to put on a concert Saturday night with his new guitar. That is a nice thing to point out that, last week we had the Lobster. This week we're in Nashville. So, yeah, they give him a guitar when they win. And if you're Kyle Busch back in the day in the Xfinity Series, he smashed the guitar in Victory Lane. So that's
such a gorgeous guitar to break, man. That breaks my heart.
Yeah, of all the trophies, probably one of the trophies I'm not going to want to break, but it's Kyle Busch, and that was back in the day and in his more rowdy days as well. So that's how it goes. But
it's the WWE attitude of era of NASCAR.
It is, yeah. It really is.
20 minutes, 16 minutes, 23 seconds before my first WWE.
There you go. Go ahead.
I promise it'll pass. I promise.
Note that in the record book. Rod's first reference for WWE. There we go. All right, Rod, you ready to get into the picks?
I think they are.
I'll save you from the rest of the WWE talk. All right, Rod. I hate to do this to a guy who's made us some money this season, but gonna fade Carson Qualpole this week, Rod. Got him in a head-to-head over on the Caesars Sportsbook versus Sammy Smith. -120 for Sammy Smith over Carson Qualpole, -120. Carson Qualpole has made 4 starts in the Xfinity Series, 3 top 5 finishes. Doesn't really sound like a guy that you want to fade, does it, Rod? But here's the thing. Those 3 top 5s were all on shorter, flatter tracks. He's a late model guy, still a young kid. Places like Martinsville, places like New Hampshire. What was the other one? It was Bristol or something. I don't remember. But it was another shorter track that fits to his style. The other race where he didn't finish in the top 15 or in the top 5 or inside the top 15 for that matter was Darlington. A bigger track, a tougher track to race, a little bit more difficult. He's not as used to the big tracks. Still a super young kid. Finished in 19th place that day. And I went back and looked and nothing really happened to him. He wasn't running better than that throughout the day. He just didn't have the best car. And I think that it's a big gap in the learning still. And is Carson Qualpole going to figure it out eventually, Rod? Fuck yeah, he is. Because I think he's probably on his way to getting a ride, maybe full-time at JRM next year. I mean, Junior on his podcast this week was basically saying his goodbyes to him in the late model program already. It's calm down, buddy. You haven't even signed. Maybe he has signed it. Who knows? Because he would know, right? But I think that this is the place where
Carson gets here.
Yeah. He's like, when Carson gets to, that's where you got to bring Carson Hoswar in. Which Carson is it, Rod? But anyways, back to the point. 19th place at Darlington. That's the thing that really sticks out to me. And I think that everybody's kind of got this elevated sense of, wow, look how good this kid's been doing. 3 top 5s and 4 starts. It's great. It's wonderful. And it is. Absolutely. But let's look at the track type. Let's look at where we're going now. I think there's going to be a little bit of a difference there. For Sammy Smith's side of things, Sammy Smith has just been, for as much as we kind of ragged on him early in the season, he's been super, super consistent. 16 races this season, 9 top 10 finishes for him. You go back and you look at some of the faster comparable tracks that we've been on for speed. They didn't go to Kansas, so we don't have that track to look at, but 3rd place at Charlotte, 8th place at Texas, 8th place at Las Vegas. I'll take an 8th place finish out of Sammy Smith this weekend in Nashville, and I think that's going to be better than Qualpole. Again, it's nothing against Qualpole. We love the kid. We bet on him last week. We've hit the top 5 multiple times, but I think on the different style of track, he still has some learning to do. I think he showed us that at Darlington. I think you're going to see that again this weekend. So Sammy Smith over Carson Qualpole, -120 over on Caesars.
And let's not get it twisted. I wasn't talking a bunch of junk about Sammy Smith. You were laying it thick on Sammy Smith. I was defending
very rough on Sammy.
But here's the thing too. This is a bet in which even Qualpole can have a top 10 car, and I still believe that Sammy Smith would have a better day for it. So this isn't, like you said, this isn't an indictment on what Qualpole can do. This is just Sammy's going to do 1 better, right, or 2 better, or whatever. So I'm with you on this one. I hate it for Qualpole because we both love him, but again, even a 7th place finish and Sammy finishes 6th, then we all eat some sort of manner of a good burger, whatever a good burger joint is in your area. We're not eating steak, but we're definitely eating something good. Oh, all right. All right. We love Austin Hill, right? We fly the 21 banner whenever we possibly can. We loved him for top 5s for so much of last season. We used to staple him in. It used to be another bet where we were like, what are you doing? You're giving us Austin Hill top 5 at any sort of price. We'll take it. But Cody, that's not really where Austin Hill has been lately. So I'm going to take our favorite Canadian that's not a Canadian, that's actually from California, Sheldon Creed. And I'm going to take him over Austin Hill. This is at minus 115. I know. Hang with me on this one. We'll get there.
We're playing with fire here.
I am. And I'm ready to get burnt. But I'm also ready for this to cash when it does. So again, for Austin Hill, like I said, we definitely have, and this is minus 115 on several books. So if you go shop and it's not minus 115, it may not be the book that you're looking at. So I'll say this: when you look at what Sheldon Creed has done, especially over the last 3 weeks, right? Second, fifth, second. And really the last two are kind of what I'm looking at altogether. And that was a second place at Loudon and a fifth place at Iowa. That's kind of what you're after right there. He has 10 top 10 finishes this season. And really, again, third at Phoenix. That's not bad. Sixth at Martinsville. That's not bad. Fourth at Dover. Ninth at Darlington, right? All of these solid top 10 finishes for Sheldon Creed. I'm going to throw his track record here out because in the two races that he's been in, he was in that 2 car, right? Finished 17th, finished 36th. We know that this is not the 2 car that he's in anymore. This 18 car, it's definitely the top equipment. As Cody continues to say, week in and week out, it is the top equipment every single week. I get that. Austin Hill, he's been a fantastic track record here too. 9th, 8th, and 4th in his time in the Xfinity Series. 2 of those with the 22. The problem with Austin Hill is that we saw that consistency out of him all season, last season. We saw that consistency out of him to start this season. But boy, since Richmond, it has not been quite as consistent. 34th at Martinsville, 6th at Texas, 14th at Talladega, 15th at Dover, 2nd at Darlington, 25th at Charlotte, 11th at Portland, 5th at Sonoma, 29th in Iowa because he crashed out, 24th in Loudon. This has not necessarily been a good stretch for Austin Hill. We definitely love Austin Hill most weeks. And in fact, this is another one, Cody, in which Austin Hill can have another 8th place finish, could have another 9th place finish, right? Could have another 4th place finish. But Sheldon Creed, king of second place, all he needs to do is finish in second place again this week. And sure enough, he's cashing this bet. So this one's it makes you feel kind of yucky, but at face value, but I still think it's worth, I feel like it's worth investigating.
Oh, I don't know, Roddy. You make some great points. I will agree with you on that. It's been pretty rough for Hill. We've talked about that with his top 5, where it used to be the auto bet. Now it's not so much. I do have a bet on Creed in a bit, so I am going to make a little bit of an argument. But his 1.5 mile program scares me a little. His bigger track program scares me a little. I don't know. This one is a bit of a coin flip. I don't know that I trust. And I don't want to say Creed's inconsistent because he's kind of figured it out, but it's scary for sure.
Well, and JDK saying, I don't know if I would say solid and Creed in the same sentence. I mean, I did. So I would
finished in second place. What, 47 times? That's
600 times,
solid, right?
Yeah, that's his thing, right? His creed is to finish in second.
And he doesn't always rely. I mean, yeah, a lot of times he'll take advantage of others crashing out when he's not the one crashing out, but he's had some pretty good runs too, where he's just kind of been up front for a portion of the day. So I don't know. I still don't know that I agree with this head to head, but I don't disagree either. So I will remain Switzerland over here.
You will be neutral, and that is all right. That again, Cody, we're just giving you the menu. You choose what you want from this menu. You don't even have to choose any of it. You could just drink water and saltine crackers all night if that's what you want to do. I'm not forcing you to eat anything. God.
Give me Sheldon Creed over Austin Hill, Rod. No, I actually don't, but I just wanted to say it.
I'll take the Sheldon Creed over Austin Hill, please. And may I get that medium rare?
Sir, do you know what you're ordering? Are you sure you want this?
No. Is that not the special? I'm sorry. All right, let's get back to some bets. But first, let me tell you about Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. Rhythm projections have been red hot for the WNBA and golf, so go out there, claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHM M. All right, Cody, let's move to the appetizers portion. Continue on down the road with this appetizer portion of our menu.
Oh, Rod, this is a Riley Herbst week if we've ever seen one. Top 5, plus 360, plus 350. Apologies, I don't want to give out an incorrect line. Plus 350 over on Bet 365. See, I was just getting a little dyslexic there. But that's how it goes. Rod, in 3 starts at Nashville in the Xfinity Series, Riley Herbst has an average finish of 5th place, and yet we're getting him at plus 350. 10th in the first place here, or first start here rather, but 3rd place in 2022. Let's try this over. Yes, 10th place in the first start here in 2021. That's correct. 3rd place in 2022, which it was 3rd and 4th in the stages too. So like ran up front the entire day, was in the mix. 2023 finished 2nd place here, 7th and 5th in the stages. Again, just kind of consistently up there. Talk about an up and down season, right? It's been pretty rough for Herbst at points, but we've seen over the last couple of weeks. I don't remember what he did last week. I don't think he did much, but a couple of weeks ago at Iowa, really good car, solid run. Now we're coming to a track where he's done really well at in the past. We've seen him get that win at Las Vegas last year and kind of run good on the 1.5 miles. That's the thing too, is like, as we kind of come back into this race and after we've had it's different tracks still, but a lot of short tracks here lately. A lot of road courses and short tracks, especially in the Xfinity Series. Now we're adjusting off of that, getting back to these bigger tracks. So let's try and remember which of these guys are faster at those types of tracks. Herbst has been one of those guys, dominating at Vegas last season and having some good runs earlier this year as well. So Riley Herbst, very good at Nashville, top 5, plus 350. I know the field's a little bit loaded, right? You've got all these guys in there, but really, if you really look at it, you've got Gibbs and Nemechek in the Gibbs cars. They're going to be good. I think that Reddick is a bit of a wild card, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I've got some bets coming up on Reddick for sure. Other than that, though, Rod, like Chastain's in a bad car, Gregson's in a bad car. Not worried about Qualpole. Like, it's not like it's really that loaded of, you don't have a Hendrick car in here. You don't have all this other stuff. So I don't think that it's that crazy to think a guy like Riley Herbst could be in the top 5 by any means. Plus 350. Give me some Riley Herbst top 5.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm gonna just get to my Herbst bet too as well. I'm gonna just kind of piggyback off of what you said. I'm taking him as a top 3. I mean, I had him as a top 3 before you had him as a top 5, and so 8-1 for his top 3 number. Cody just laid out the exact points that I was gonna make, so I don't really need to go any harder than that. But I mean, when you've got a guy that has this kind of a track record and has been able to put together as good of a run here as Riley Herbst, I mean, I don't foresee another 3rd place finish out of him out of the realm of possibility. So 8-1 for that. I mean, that's only 2 spots, and you're getting close to 400 and some odd points for that. So yeah, I mean, listen, I'm okay with that. Like you said, when you see his track record and you've been here for three races and you've got 2 top 3 finishes in 2 of those 3. In the last 2, and it's gotten progressively better, right? 10th, 3rd, 2nd. Only way to go is
there's only one way to go, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I love it. I think I'm going to ride that to the 8-1 train that he does it again. Jessica is saying, good evening, Jessica.
Good evening, Jessica. And she says, oh God, Chastain.
Well, we'll get there in a second.
Back to the Riley Herbst thing, though. Yeah, I love it. I think 8-1, great value. I think you played the 350 in case he only gets in there, but for only 2 more spots to jump all the way to 8-1. We'll finish the car lift later, Rod. Little spoiler alert for you. But the other thing too is with the inconsistencies that you get out of Herbst at plus 350 at 8-1, it's not minus 120 and plus 250. Like, those bets really hurt when he crashed again. God damn it, I knew not to bet on him. It's still going to suck, obviously, if you have multiple bets on Riley Herbst here, but at a bigger number, it doesn't hurt as bad because it's building in for when he does get caught up in the shit, which he tends to do sometimes, but we know also what he's capable of. So love it, Rod. Speaking of someone that is capable of good things, Ryan Sieg over on Bet365, 14-1 for a top 5 finish, Rod. We have seen Ryan Sieg be just absolutely strong and steady this season. Most recently, last week at New Hampshire. So a lot of times with Sieg, one of the best drivers, and I've been betting Ryan Sieg and making a lot of money off of him on super speedways for years because he's so good at avoiding chaos. He's so good at just being there at the end. He pops up all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, where did he come from, right? And that's what he's good at. So if you get the chaos angle in this, which the Xfinity Series can get chaotic, Rod. If you've watched a race, you know how bad it can get, right? But it doesn't always have to be chaotic for him to be good. Go back to New Hampshire. 6th place finish last week. That's great. But then you go back on these 1.5 mile tracks we had earlier this season. 7th place at Charlotte. 2nd at Texas by this much, Rod. The closest finish in Xfinity Series history. And he was there. I think it was the closest finish. I'm pretty sure it was. But 2nd place to Sam Mayer there. Now, there was some chaos at the end, yes, but he survived it. He got that. That's what you're looking for at 14-1. 7th place at Las Vegas as well. They've got that Stewart-Haas partnership, and I understand that that's obviously, well, will that go away? I'm so confused on a lot of things. I think the Haas factory team in the Cup Series is going to be horrible. The Xfinity Series team could potentially, if they can just keep all the pieces in place, could potentially continue to be good. But the partnership's been working for Sieg. We've seen it be better. By the way, in 2022, he finished 9th here. And back then, Rod, we weren't really seeing this out of Sieg outside of super speedways. Even last year, we weren't seeing a ton outside of the super speedways from Sieg. It's been completely different with that upped partnership this year, and they've done really well. So Ryan Sieg at 14-1 for a top 5 is an absolute steal. He's probably going to find himself in the top 10 at the end of the day. At 14-1 for him to get inside the top 5, he definitely can do it. We've seen it from him. And again, these guys, yes, it should be Gibbs. Yes, it should be Nemechek. Yes, it should be Smith. Yes, it should be Allgaier. But how many times? I mean, have we seen one race this season where all of those guys made it to the end? I can't think of one. Somebody always has issues. So things like that help him out. Ryan Sieg, top 5, 14-1.
A lot of nuts getting cracked back there with the squirrels. So definitely, yeah, I mean, this is not a series in which you can just pencil or put it in pen or in blood or in chalk or whatever is the more permanent thing that all these guys are going to get these top 5 finishes, which is why I'm going to turn my attention to a guy who can get there in his own right without any sort of chaos, and that is Sam Mayer. Why? My case begins and ends with the fact that he's done it twice already. 5th place and 3rd place at this track in 22 and 23. I mean, you guys know, if you've listened to one episode of this show, you know my bleeding love for, that's the 2nd time I've said blood. I feel like, I don't know what's going on. But you know how much I absolutely love my JRM drivers. Sam Mayer, there's not much more of a case you need to make for Sam Mayer. Finished 2nd in Martinsville. He won at Texas, 3rd at Dover, 4th at Darlington, 4th at Charlotte, won Iowa a couple of weeks ago. Had a really rough day in Loudon, but still started 3rd in that one only because of the metrics still. But Sam Mayer is a guy now who can just go out and win races on his own. He doesn't have to worry about what Cup drivers in the field. He doesn't have to worry about what is going on around him. Like, he can just go flat out win races now. Remember last year, it was sort of like, can Sam Mayer win? Sam Mayer ended up winning, and then he just hasn't stopped. Like, he continues to win races, and he's going to be a driver to contend with after most people are said and done. Will he drive on Sundays sooner rather than later? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's going to be a lot of rides opening up here in the near future. He might be on the short list for a couple, but that'll probably be a couple of years down the road. But in the meantime, he's going to sit around and dominate this Xfinity Series for the most part. So you got to love his chances. Already got those 2 wins this season. So he's definitely locked into the playoffs, Cody. Mayer's number as a top 5 car is plus 110. That's good. You're getting plus money for a driver that's done this twice already. This is a recipient of all of these Cup guys being in the field, because just over even money for a top 5 for a guy that's done it twice, for a guy that's won on a 1.5 mile, coming 2nd on another track that's not necessarily a short track or a big track. Cody, are short tracks the new cookie cutters? Is that what we're heading toward now? Are we?
I don't think so. Cause no, I don't think so, Rob. And all the short tracks are different.
I don't think so.
For the most part, they're all different. So no, but yeah,
they've got their own
putting some respect on Sam Mayer's name this week, finally, from the books. Like, they've been just dissing this guy for weeks, and finally have realized, like, oh shit, we should wake up. But you're still getting plus 120. I do like it.
No, plus 110, Cody. Let's not miss plus 110.
Just hit end of stream. Let's start over. Can we start this over?
Quit making up lines. Damn it.
Nobody heard that. Real quick, Robert checking in says, you guys work great together. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. I would like to know how you guys first met and said, let's start SGPN. Well, we didn't start SGPN for sure. So real quick story, right? Sports Gambling Podcast was started, 12, 13 years ago, I think, by Ryan Kramer,
2012,
Sean Green. Yeah, something like that. So 12 years. Oh, look at that. I was right. They started Sports Gambling Podcast in the basement or the garage or something like that. And they've built it into a big network of shows and everything. There's, I think, 27 or 28 different shows on the network now. So they're the main show, the Sports Gambling Podcast. There's the NBA Gambling Podcast, the NFL Gambling Podcast, the CFL Gambling Podcast, MLB, like all sorts of different sports. So if you're into other sports, check those shows out as well. But so they've got this big network of things. Rod started working for him a couple of years ago and then had this brilliant idea. They need a NASCAR show. Let's start a NASCAR show. At the time, this was before they had a Discord, just a Slack channel. I was a big fan of the show. I was a loudmouth always in the Slack channels. There was a NASCAR channel, and we had kind of got built up a little bit of a community in there. And I would give my picks out every week in there because I had been following NASCAR my whole life, and I was betting on it and playing fantasy, and these are the guys I liked, and blah, blah, blah. So Rod reached out to me, and he's like, hey, we're going to start this podcast. You want to do it with me? And I was like, dude, you're fucking crazy. Absolutely not. I've never done any type of anything like this before. Nothing. I don't like public speaking. I've never been on the radio. And Rod, obviously, as you can tell, is a professional. He's been on the radio. He's been in movies, TV shows. Like, he's done all this stuff forever. He's great at it, whatever. So, So when we started, actually, I had no camera on my computer. It was just me and a black screen. I could see Rod. He couldn't see me. We did the first couple of episodes, and we just once a week, Cup Series picks. And here we are, 444 episodes later. Obviously, you know what the show's turned into, but it is a pretty fun story, I think. So I like to share it whenever I get the chance. And since Robert was asking, in case anybody else hasn't heard it, I like it.
444 episodes later, and Cody's holding down hour-long shows by himself. This is the I'm not even gonna say Bill Belichick. Where's a good coaching tree that I could start?
Talk about the Bill Parcells coaching tree. You kind of are. Is that like? Because like Parcells was like the original guy that like that's where like the Belichicks came from and stuff like and like Justin Mark. You got some other guys you put in this like and that's branched off into Miranda. I think you are the Bill Parcells of the SGPN network, Rod. So shout out to you. But
thank you.
I do like the story. It's always fun. So all right, Rod, back to the betting because that's what we're here for. Gonna go back to the top Chevrolet market. This is a market that I love to hit for good reason because it's hit for us plenty of times. So again, you're kind of looking at this like a big group, right? So top Chevy, this is over on Caesars. You got to go into the speakeasy to find it. I'm going to take Austin Hill 5-1 and Sammy Smith at plus 750. Here's the thinking behind this, right? Allgaier, heavy favorite at plus 135. He should be good, Rod. We know he should be good every week. He is good every week. He's fast. Could he win this race? Yes. Would anybody be surprised? No. Should he finish in the top 5? Yes, absolutely. Does that always happen? No. Said it 100 times, right? Things go wrong. Things happen. And sometimes he just gets straight up beat by one of these other guys. That can happen. Sam Mayer, they're putting some respect on his name. Only plus 310. Considered that, but I wanted to go a little farther. Hill and Smith are next at 5-1 for Hill, 750 for Sammy Smith. That's kind of the sweet spot. I like the bigger number you're getting, and they're still expected to be top 4 in the Chevrolet market. Like, that's pretty good, right? Then you go past that. You got Carson Kvapil at 10-1. I already talked about how I don't think he's going to be as good. Jesse Love at 12-1. Oh, this is the one I had targeted, Rod. I was going to give this one out. Not been good at mile and a half this season. So avoiding Jesse Love. Somebody said love earlier. CYTY, not love this week. I really wanted to. We do love him, but I wanted to. Then Ross Chastain at 15-1 rather. I mean, again, the car, you're going to make a case for him in a bit. Yeah, but Allmendinger, and then it really kind of falls off. So if Hill or Smith can just beat Allgaier and Mayer, which they can just do straight up anyways, let alone if those guys have any problems, I think that's a great spot to go. So give me Austin Hill 5-1 top Chevy, Sammy Smith 750 top Chevy over on Caesars.
Well, both of them can do it. I don't know that they'll do it, but I think both of them can.
So you made the case against Hill earlier, and I think that it's a very valid case, right? But if you go back and you look, he's had some pretty good runs on the 1.5 miles earlier this season. Second place at Darlington. That's probably going to put you in the running for top Chevy, right? 6th place at Texas, 4th place at Vegas, 7 top 5 finishes this year. I know it's been rough lately. I get that. There's been some inconsistencies. They've had some problems. Obviously, RCR is going through some things. Firing Andy Petrie retired, things like that. So, but the upside is there at 5-1. I like it. And if he doesn't show up, whatever. He doesn't show up. It's not a huge deal. Was 4th place here last year for the record, 8th and 9th in the other 2 races here. So Ben hanging around there, strong finish last season. I think you could get it done.
All right, you have made a point. It's not enough to convince me, but maybe it'll convince some of the people out there.
Not a good point, but a point.
But you've made a point, which is good for you. Gold star for Cody. He made a point. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I already made my case against Hill, so I'll go on there. I do think Sammy Smith has a good shot at it because he's Sammy Smith. So, all right, this is one where you're going to adamantly disagree with me, and that is AJ Allmendinger. I'm taking him as a top. Well, maybe you won't disagree with me on this, but the top 5 at least. Top 5 for AJ Allmendinger plus 375 over on Caesars. I get it. I must have woken up this morning and chose violence because I'm picking all the drivers that do not make you feel comfortable picking them. And I think maybe I'm trying to get you out of your comfort zone and to see the world through a different lens. But if I told you that there were 2 active Xfinity drivers right now, only 2 that have race or wins on this particular track, you would definitely say Justin Allgaier. You probably would not say AJ Allmendinger as the second one, but AJ Allmendinger won here last year. He started 11th. Finished in 1st place. Now, granted, he was driving the 10. Doesn't matter, though. It's still Kaulig equipment. So 10, 16, whatever the number was on the side of that, he was still driving probably the best Kaulig car that was out there. He's going to end up being it. Chase Burr saying, concrete AJ, hey, listen, it's a thing. It really is. So I'm with you on that one. So top 5 at plus 375 for AJ. Nothing is going to make you feel good about this. I guarantee you, no matter what numbers I read to you, you're going to read back to me all the bad ones, right? So Vegas, 6th place, but you're going to say, yeah, but 18th at Phoenix. I'm going to say to you 4th place at Texas. And you're going to say, yeah, but 35th at Darlington. I'm going to say to you 6th place at Dover. And you're going to say, yeah, but 17th or 37th at Iowa. And I'm going to say 5th place at Charlotte. And you're going to say, yeah, but 11th place at Loudon. Okay. This is called gambling. You got to take a stance on one side or the other, right? I'm taking the glass half full stand that AJ is going to repeat the success that he's had on this track. Look, he won, right? In 2023, he had a 5th place finish in 2021. He started on the outside pole in 2022, led 48 laps of 187 that he ran, finished 16th in that race. So he was fast. He's fast on this track. He's good on this track. He didn't get to finish the one time, but he's still had 2 top 5 finishes on this track. And I think he can do it again. He's fully capable of doing it. This isn't like I'm picking the worst driver. Okay. This is not like I'm picking Hailie Deegan for a top 5. I love you, Hailie Deegan, but your track record is not the greatest. So if I was picking Hailie Deegan as a top 5 and trying to build a case around that, then and only then can you say I'm crazy. But AJ Allmendinger has proven he can do it. He's proven he can win on this track. And I think plus 375 for a top 5 is a little disrespectful. So I'm riding AJ to a top 5 at plus 375.
AJ love yesterday. AJ love today. Rod is back in full swing. Good to see it. I don't know, Rod. I want to like it. Like the few times that I've gone out of my way and bet on him, he just burned me so bad that it always sucks. But yeah, I don't have an argument against it. So I'll give you that at least.
Well, thank you for that. I'm glad I learned one thing from this in the art of persuasion.
You're welcome.
If I can persuade Cody to go with me on an Xfinity bet, folks, you know that I've made a good argument.
There you go. JDK checking in. Zeeb 365 has Bubba to make the playoffs at plus 160. If you're still feeling the Bubba love, 365 actually has some good champion stuff, chip stuff out. They do actually have some really good stuff out, Rod. They've got season matchup bets for where guys will finish. They've got to make the playoffs, to make the round of 4, all this stuff. I will say, we haven't quite figured out our schedule yet, but a month from now, we've only got a couple of, so we've got Nashville, we've got Nashville, Chicago, Pocono, and Indy. And then it's a 2-week break. There's going to be some time in there. So we're probably going to have some futures talk and stuff like that coming up at that point. So maybe we'll end up squeezing. Maybe next week we could do something like hit some of those if we want to when those trucks are taking some more time off, Rod, because they haven't had enough time off lately. So, but we'll figure it out. But definitely some more futures talk in the near future. All right, Rod, futures in the future.
I was going to say exactly that.
It had to be.
All right, Marty McFly.
Okay, we're going to go over to top finishing Toyota. Look, this is a very simple thing here. You've only got 5 Toyotas in this race. Now, is it 5 really fucking good Toyotas? Absolutely. It's headed up by Ty Gibbs. You got John Nemechek. You got Chandler Smith. You got Tyler Reddick. You got Sheldon Creed. 5 pretty good guys. But this is the size of a group, right? Most groups, 4 or 5 drivers. This is the size of a group. Spoiler alert, going to be on Ty Gibbs in a different way later. So I'm feeling pretty covered in that way. So what I'm going to do here, Gibbs is plus 130 at the top of this. Nemechek's plus 220. Smith is plus 310. I'm going to go to the bottom 2 guys. Tyler Reddick at plus 550. Sheldon Creed at 8-1. The thinking here is you've got 2 of the 5 guys. So if something happens to those other 3 guys, because how many times have we seen it? Here they come on the restart. One guy, Michael McDowell, gets aggressive and goes up, and there goes Gibbs, there goes Nemechek, both into the wall, and then Chandler Smith has a flat tire. Suddenly, Tyler Reddick and Sheldon Creed are the only 2 Toyotas left in the field. It doesn't matter where they finish; they can cash this. That's the type of things you're getting out of here. You made a case for Creed to have a good run earlier. The one thing I was definitely concerned about is the 1.5 mile thing hasn't been that great, but at 8-1 in a group of 5 drivers, I think that it's worth the gamble on chaos because he thrives on chaos at points when he's not included in it. And Sheldon Creed has 3 top 5 finishes in a row. So, again, it's been the shorter tracks. I get that, but been good finishes. It's got 7 on the season. Again, not great at the intermediates. I get it, but I do like it. For Tyler Reddick, he's in the 26 car. So that immediately raises concern. And we've talked about this with Corey Heim, and Heim goes out and he's having a top 5 run. He looks good. And then the pit crew shows up. And it's not a good pit crew, right? They're not good. And things go wrong. And springs go bad. And things break in these cars because they're not great cars. But this is Tyler Reddick. So let's keep that in mind. We've seen him when he was with Chevy still jump into that big machine racing 48 car before Kligerman was full-time in it. That was kind of running so-so every week, just had random so-so drivers in it, and boom, comes out, stomps the field, kills everybody, and wins the race. So it's not like he hasn't done that before. I think he's capable, we'll talk about it in a few, of winning this race. I think he can have a good day. I think this is a great way to get in on one of the best talents we have in the Cup Series right now at a pretty big number at 550. To be the top finishing Toyota, Rod, you don't have to win the race. Maybe you only have to finish 7th or 8th place, depending on how the circumstances go. It leaves a lot of things open. So I like it. He has raced here twice. He was 15th here last year in this car, so not a great run. 21st in that 48 car that I talked about 2 seasons ago. So not been the best of runs here, but as we talked about on the Cup Series show yesterday, was very good here in the Cup Series last season before he wrecked out. And again, you're taking the risk with the car, but being a group of 5, you get 3 of them, or you get 2 of them. You only have to beat 3 other guys. I like Reddick plus 550, Creed at 8-1, top Toyota.
Yeah, it's the Toyotas are just not a deep field. And I think, if you're going to go anywhere with that, that is certainly a good way to go because those are 2 of the strongest drivers out there in the entire field. So I like it. I like it a lot. Here's what I also like. Chevy, winning manufacturer, plus 155 for this over on Caesars. You actually are this is the second. Your Toyota is actually the favorite to win this race. No surprise there, right? I mean, Toyota, like you said, it's a small field, but it's a loaded field. There's a lot of folks in there that have the talent to be able to win this. But statistically speaking, Chevys, they are the largest group of manufacturers in that. You said it. There's only 5 Toyota drivers, but there's only 3, 6, 7, 8 Ford drivers. The rest are Chevys. So statistically speaking, this bet at plus 165 is probably the best bet to make because you get all the JRM drivers. You also get AJ Allmendinger. You also get Carson Kvapil if he acts it while he's a JRM driver, but you also get a guy that I'm going to talk about. You also get SVG holding down the bottom of the list if he, accidentally wins a race and messes around. He won't, but if he does, you're covered in that aspect because I don't know that you're going to want to throw anything on it outright for him as well. But look, statistically speaking, plus 160 or plus 155, sorry, not making up lines, plus 155 over on Caesars is the number for this. And like I said, there's so many more Chevys out in the field, and a lot of these are good. And both of the past winners on this track have driven a Chevrolet, right? Justin Allgaier did it. AJ Allmendinger did it. So, and what's crazy? So you look back at the track history of this one, right? It's AJ Allmendinger. It's Justin Allgaier. It's Kyle Busch in a Toyota in 2021. But before that, they took a 10-year break before they came back. It's Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski in a Dodge, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Scott Wimmer, and then like a big stretch of Carl Edwards. So, look, if you're not Carl Edwards on this track, you're not winning. But, again, the last 2 out of 3 in modern history have been Chevrolets outside of Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch is not in this field. And if he were, guess what he'd be driving? A Chevrolet. So I think this is a pretty good bet to make. I wanted to stray away from the winning car number this time, so I figured a winning manufacturer bet would be apropos in this situation. So yeah, give me Chevrolet to win as the manufacturer at plus 155 on Caesars.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, Ron. I think this could be where we disagree. So here, Chevy's been really good in every series here. I will give you that. But when you look at the Chevy drivers, like Allgaier at plus 450, Mayer at plus 850, is there really any Chevys you want outside of that? I mean, Hill or Allmendinger at 20-1. Do you maybe just bet on those 2 Chevys instead? I don't know. I guess it covers you for some stuff. Doesn't matter because Tyrone Gibbs drives a Toyota. And guess who's winning this race, Rod? It's Tyrone Gibbs. Before we get to that, JDK has a question. A serious question. Not just a question. This is very serious. Okay. Serious question. Are the Cup guys allowed to bring their crews down when they race in Xfinity, or do they have to use the supplied crew from the team? Well, a couple of things here. I think that they probably could maybe request that if they really wanted to. There's probably a pretty good chance that some of his crew guys are already on Xfinity teams, whether that's pitting for Gibbs, whether that's pitting for a different team, whether that's maybe pitting for this team. Who knows? There's also, if his Cup guys are not pitting Xfinity cars regularly, the Cup is 1 lug nut, the Xfinity is 5 lug nuts. So to just jump down for one race randomly when they're not doing it every week, is that a huge benefit? I don't know. Also, these guys who are on the 26 team are on the 26 team. Like Tyler Reddick comes in for a race. Hey, sorry, John, you're benched. We'll see you next week at Chicago. I mean, they could, but I think it's more of a tougher question than just like, hey, 45 crew, here we go. I don't know that that's really how it would work, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't know that it would be a huge advantage either. So I think even if you could, and even if you would, should you, is really the question.
Yeah, so exactly. So, okay, like I've said before, Rod, time for some winners. And that winner is, like I said before, Tyrone Gibbs, plus 450. I'm on him this week. He was 4th place here in 2022, won stage 1 last season before getting wrecked. And I love Ty Gibbs. That's really it, Rod. He's plus, look, we know how talented he is. We know how fucking fast these Joe Gibbs racing cars are. You're putting him in this 19 car. He can show up. He can get it done. Hasn't got it done this season yet in Xfinity. This is the week to right the ship. He's been good on the Cup Series at the intermediates this year. I think we're going to see it in Xfinity. Plus 450 is a great number. He's not plus 250, not plus 300. And this is over on Superbook, by the way, where he's plus 450, just to make sure that that's clear for people. Yesterday, he was plus 400 on Superbook. So if you bet him at the opening line, maybe you didn't get the best. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm going to be positive today, Rod. Plus 450 for Ty Gibbs over on Superbook to win this race. Then, Rod, Tyler Reddick. I told you yesterday, if you were in the Discord, to get him at 14-1 over on Superbook, because that was going to be the best line you were going to see. I was correct, because it has moved down to 12-1, so I'll give it out on the show officially as a 12-1 pick. But this is, and I think it was JDK that was asking in Discord earlier, plus 120 or something like that for a top 5 for Reddick. I don't know that I love that, because I think either Reddick is going to come out and just be really fucking good in this car and just be fast and just be good and win this race, or they're going to have an issue, or the car is not going to be that good, and maybe he's not in it. At 12-1, would you still take him at plus 350? Oh, for Ty Gibbs? Yeah, I would still take Ty Gibbs at plus 350 JDK over on Bet365. That's all you can get, so I would still take him at that number. But if you can get plus 450, do that. For Tyler Reddick, 12-1, I do love this number because, look, we've seen him do it in the 48 car. He can get into these lesser cars. He's one of the most talented drivers in all of NASCAR. You're putting him down in here, and I think that he can show up. He can get it done. Been good on this track. Riley Herbst at 30-1, Rod. Third place 2 years ago, second place last year, first place this year. You got to get in on Riley Herbst 30-1. We talked about him earlier. And then, Rod, if you go over to Caesars and you parlay Tyler Reddick to win the Xfinity Series race and Tyler Reddick to win the Cup Series race, 120-1. I'm picking him to win both already. We're getting in on him 14-1 here. Put them together. We just saw Christopher Bell do it last week. I'm feeling another sweep this weekend. Tyler Reddick to win both races, 120-1. Sign me up.
I'll see your Gibbs, Reddick, and Herbst, and I'll raise you a Ross Chastain. I did not mean to do this, but I was looking at all of the.
I wouldn't have meant to do this either.
I was looking at all the favorites, and I thought it's just boring to give out Justin Allgaier, even though I want to give out Justin Allgaier. But I know that if you're going to bet on Justin Allgaier, you're already going to bet on Justin Allgaier. I don't need to tell you to do that, right? It's one of those things where I don't have to tell you to do that. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it instinctively, because you probably know. And if you don't know NASCAR, go bet on Justin Allgaier, because he's probably going to win this race. He's going to win every race. Like that. That's how I feel about Justin Allgaier. I wish that I had a Justin Allgaier shirt to wear every single day, because I probably would do it. I wouldn't wash it
single day. Wow.
Every single day, because that's how much I love Justin Allgaier. I don't, but still. All right. But I'm going to say Ross Chastain, 80-1 on Superbook. Some books he's 50-1, some books he's 40-1, but on Superbook, Cody, can you fact check that for me? I got it at 80-1. I want to make sure that I'm giving out the right number on the show, but I got him at 80-1 on Superbook. And I feel like, look, he made his first Xfinity start last week in Iowa, finished 9th place in that race, in that 92 car. That is not necessarily, Cody, you are not called on.
I know you've been in class, Rod. So I wanted to raise my hand. People are clamoring to bet on Ross Chastain. So much so, Rod, that no, his number's not moved. It's still 80-1.
Oh, thank God. Okay. And that's fine. That's on you, my friends. Oh, so you wanted to give me the odds update. Okay, great. Thank God. I thought you were going to argue with me already. I was like, no.
You asked for the update. So I did. And
You
Robert as well, watching over on the X, pointing out that Cody just threw up in his mouth on Chastain. That was a YouTube.
Oh, 1,000% he did.
So yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. He did. And that's okay. Again, we don't have to agree on everything, but I do, like I said, I do know that that Ross Chastain, look, in Iowa, he did finish 9th in his only Xfinity start. Why am I bringing up Ross Chastain? Well, he's been good on Nashville. In that one car, he drove a 5th place finish in the Cup, and he won last year. Ross Chastain. This
is the 92 car, though, Rob.
But Ross Chastain can outdrive his equipment. Ross Chastain is one of those drivers that can drive better than its equipment. A 9th place, would you put 92 in the top 10? Probably not. He did.
Yeah. But what did it take? What did we have to sacrifice for
everything, Cody? Everything. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
No.
You can't talk me down off of this ladder. This is one of those ones where I feel like Ross Chastain is so good on this track that he will figure out how to do it. He hasn't been here on an Xfinity ride yet, but I think he's got the smarts. He needs this. I mean, he needs a good week. Like Ross Chastain, I don't know what it is. Like all the hype of the last couple of years have sort of died down on Ross Chastain. He needs to smash some watermelons. So I think it's this weekend or nothing for him. And I think he knows that. I think this is his best shot on a track that he's had success on. It starts Saturday. It goes into Sunday. And if you really feel froggy and if you really want to put like a buck down to try to win 450 or so, a Ross sweep of the weekend, because I gave him out yesterday on the Cup Series show. So a Ross sweep plus 45,800. So 458,800 is his number. 45,800. Yeah, that's what it is. So a Ross sweep on the weekend is that.
Look, if you're going to bet him at 80-1 to win Xfinity and you have the ability to parlay him to win both, you absolutely have to do it, because if he wins Xfinity, the hard part is over.
It's true.
And you're going to want to have that ticket. So if you feel, look at 80-1. I mean, he's a Cup Series guy. I get it. It's a DGM 92 car. It's going to take some serious help. But, Rod, maybe this is like Space Jam. The little spaceship lands on the baseball field. Michael Jordan walks out of it, takes out a bunch of cars. I don't know. Crazy things can happen.
Strategy too can get him there. It doesn't always have to be the drive.
We saw this in the Truck Series, right? We hit him at was that Darlington, I think, where he was in the Nice truck, longer shot. We tossed him out there for that reason. Not great all day. Massive chaos late. Sneaks through, wins the race. But that was in a truck that's capable of winning. Is this a car that's capable of winning?
It is if he wins in it.
At 80-1. Yeah, I don't love it, but if you feel so compelled. Hey, we don't give out 80-1s for no reason, Rod. And we've hit them before. So, hey, best of luck to you, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. All right. Well, then, let us go over these bets for this. I was going to say Toyota. This Tennessee Lottery 250. I can only see half of my screen. I hate not having my full array of screens in front of me. I feel so hampered in this little space. Let's go over the bets for this race. Cody started you out with Sammy Smith over Carson Kvapil at -120 over on Caesars. I gave you a Sheldon Creed over Austin Hill at -115 on just about any book you can find it on. If it's not yours, then I'm sorry. Riley Herbst is Cody's next pick for a top 5 car at +350. Over on 365, I said Sam Mayer would be a top 5 car at +110. Cody gave you Ryan Sieg as a top 5 car at 14-1. I gave you AJ Allmendinger as a top 5 car at +375. Cody gave you Austin Hill at 5-1 as a top Chevy. Sammy Smith as a top Chevy at 7.5-1. I gave you Riley Herbst as a top 3 car at 8-1. Cody gave you the top Toyota being Reddick at +550 or Sheldon Creed at 8-1. I said Chevy would be the winning manufacturer at +155. Cody said that Gibbs at 4.5-1, Reddick at 12-1, and Herbst at 30-1 would be fantastic bets to win this race, and tossed in the Tyler Reddick sweep at 120-1. I said that Ross Chastain at 80-1 gets I'm probably got my head in the clouds, but I don't really care, pick of the week. And then if you really, really, really want to go down the rabbit hole and you really don't want to eat lunch that day, put it in for the Ross sweep at +450. I'm sorry, +45,800. I don't even know how to read that number, but it's
excuse me, Rod. This +45,000 bet. That's a lock, right? It's for sure gonna hit. We should just place all the money on this and plan on feeding our children with this, correct?
You are going to put them through college.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution. I'll come at you on Twitter later.
Thank you very much. I at RJ Villagomez, please spell my name correctly. Yeah, that is it. That is the bets, the betting card for the 10. God bless you, audience, for loving us to death, because
yeah, it's a good thing.
We love you. We love you. We love those of you who know exactly what we mean every time we say what we mean. So, all right, that was it. Tennessee Lottery 250 bets in the books, Cody. All that's left to do is let everybody go out and fill out their betting cards. Take what you want from this menu, leave the rest, and we'll have some fun with you in Discord talking about it all.
And we're not done with betting episodes for the week, Rod. Much to the surprise of you, the Truck Series is back this week. We'll be back tomorrow with the Truck Series picks episode. So make sure you join us then. Rod, you can follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. Find all my stuff over there. Tour de France article. I gotta tell you, I did not realize how many of you were into the cycling. So there is a lot of people that are interested in that. Make sure you go check that out. That starts this weekend. PLL, Premier Lacrosse League, week 4 upon us. Got best bets for that. Check that out. F1 betting article out over there. Hopefully we'll have an episode of the F1 Gambling Podcast at some point this week. Schedules permitting. And a bunch of NFL shit and stuff too. So go check it all out at @Husker_Zeeb. And see you tomorrow for this brand new series called the Craftsman Truck Series. So it'll be interesting to talk about this startup series that the NASCAR has decided to do.
I'm not home. I don't know what's going on because all I can look at is
I almost
phone.
forgot that they existed, so it's okay.
I know. I swear to God, it's like I don't know what Craftsman trucks race. It's crazy.
What a great idea.
Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio. Everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's Sportsbook Review, whether it's in between media. Although those haven't happened a lot lately because I've been here, which is fantastic for everything else other than what I'm doing as well. So just keep me posted or keep posted on here. A week, guys, a week, and everything will be back to normal. We'll all be happy that I'll be back in my confines and we'll be more consistent to where we were before. So in the meantime, go fill out those Xfinity cards. We love you. We want to win you some money this weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow for the trucks. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.